Section 5.7, Comparing Ratios. In order to compare ratios, you must be able to use equivalent ratios. For example, 1 to 2, you should be able to change that fairly easy to 2 to 4, just by timesing it by 2 or timesing it by whatever you need. So let's look at this one here. It says which group uses more sugar per glass. So you've got two groups here. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 glasses, and you've got 1, 2, 3, 4 spoonfuls of sugar. This one down here, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 glasses and 3 spoonfuls of sugar. So the first method to look at is to compare each part to the other part. Well, let's do that then. If we take this one here, in the first one, and we do a ratio for sugar to glasses, we end up with 4 sugar for 6 glasses of water. If we do a ratio down here at the bottom of sugar to water again, we would end up with 3 sugar for 5 water. So just looking at it right away, someone would think that, oh, this one only has 3, this one has 4, so this one should be less sugar per glass. But we have to compare them by making them have equivalent ratios. So let's change each one to something that they might have in common. Well, let's look at this number here, and let's look at this number here. In other words, both of them in the glasses side. If we start counting by 5s, so let's count 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, and 30. And let's start counting by 6s up here to see which one they would have in common. 6, 12, 18, 24, 30. So what's the lowest one they have in common, or the lowest common multiple? And the answer is 30. So we need to change both of them to 30 equivalent ratios, and then we can compare them, because they'll both be out of 30 glasses of water. So let's do that. I'm going to move this here. So we know that we want them to both be 30. So let's do it. So group number 1, we wanted it to be 4 to 6. And we want to write an equivalent ratio, and we want it to be out of 30. For group number 2, remember it was 3 to 5. So we had 3 to 5, and we wanted it to be a ratio out of 30 as well, because we know they can both be changed to 30. So what would you do to make this 6 become a 30? What did you have to times it by? And the answer is you had to multiply it by 5. So if you multiplied 6 times 5 to give you 30, you must do the same thing with 4. So 6 times 4 is 24 to 30. Now when you went over and changed this one here to 30, what did you have to multiply it by to change it to 30? And the answer is 6. So you must do the exact same thing, of course, if you want to make an equivalent ratio. So I'd better times 3 by 6, and I will get 18 to 30. So which one has more spoonfuls, or the higher ratio of sugar to glasses of water? And the answer is group number 1, because it has a ratio of 24 spoonfuls of sugar for every 30 glasses of water, whereas the other one only has 18 spoonfuls of sugar for every 30 glasses of water. So that's how we compare them, by changing the ratio for all of them, so that for changing the ratio for every one of them. Another way to do it is to take the percent. In other words, find out how much is sugar compared to the entire thing. Well, if we look at this one here, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 sugar compared to the whole thing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we've got 4 to 10 sugar to water. Now if we look at this one down here, part to the whole thing, we've got 3 sugar compared to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 for the whole thing. So because it's a part to whole ratio, we can write 4 out of 10, we can write it as a fraction. So 4 out of 10. Whereas this one down here is 3 out of 8. The only thing left to do is change that to a lovely percent. Well, you know 4 out of 10 is 0.4. And as we learned earlier, changing that to percent is simply timesing it by 100 or shifting the decimal. That's going to be 40% of this is sugar. Whereas 3 out of 8, I would take the calculator on that one, and we'll get a calculator. And using the calculator, just simply put in 3 divided by 8, 3 divided by 8. That will change it to a decimal. And of course, to change anything to a percent, you've done earlier. So 37.5%, or we could even round it up to 38%, just to be generous. So it's 38%. So which one has the higher concentration of sugar? Well, this one only has 38%, whereas the one up top has 40% of the sugar.